Today's episode is a little different than what we're used to. I've struggled with this episode for a couple of weeks, and I wasn't entirely sure what angle I was going to come to it from. And then this week it just hit me. I mean, it should have been obvious. But yeah, we're talking about aliens in today's episode. And not just aliens on a spaceship coming to Earth or government conspiracies. No, we're going to talk about aliens and spirituality. So grab your cup of coffee or tea and let's spend some time together. But first, let's do the intro. Hello, my heart-centered souls, and welcome to Spilling the Tea Leaves. This is your sacred space, and I'm your host, Michelle. I'm honored to be a guide in your journey and grateful you're a part of mine. Here, we dive deep into the empowering realm of crystals, energy healing, spiritual growth, and everything in between without the gatekeeping. So sit back, relax, let's reawaken our spirit, one cosmic tea leaf at a time. Hello, I missed you so much. I have been around. Before I start, I want to say thank you for everybody that's reached out and have asked if I've been okay. I am okay. Yes, I'm fine. I thank you first and foremost. It makes it feel like a real community, and I'm grateful for that. I have been around. I just have a lot of projects that I am trying to manage, plus life, right? I'm a mom, I have my daughter, and then everything else that happens at home while working from home and running two businesses. By the way, if you hear hammering or any sort of outside noise, my neighbor is moving and we live in a townhome, so you can hear literally everything. And if I don't record this episode today, and it's going to be another long while, so this is the time that I have, so I apologize in advance. Now, speaking of projects, I have still been working on the Crystal Reiki course. I want to make a full course. And I don't know if it's like my brain, the ADHD in me, the perfectionist in me. I start the course, I record, I decide that there should be a supplemental book because why would you not want that? About crystals, and not just one that you can just pick up anywhere, but I want it to be all concise. So then I start writing a little booklet, and then the little booklet turns into a full book, and I'm like, oh my goodness, Michelle, please stop. Just get a hold of yourself. So that is still in the works. You will see that. In addition, I'm also working on a website for spiritualists, esoteric. So if you sell anything within the newage community, so if you do readings or offer Reiki sessions, healing sessions, if you sell crystals, I don't sell crystals like the raw crystals, so I'm always looking for ethical suppliers. If you design your own tarot cards, again, if you do readings, I'm trying to create sort of a collective similar to Etsy, but without the resellers and all the people that are coming in that are using AI or resellers and stuff like that. So if that's something that's interesting to you, go over to itsallsacred.com. That is my website. And itsallsacred.com. Sign up, put your name in there, your email address. So as soon as the website goes live, for the first people that are already registered, I am offering a free subscription, so you don't have to. You can save a little money, and yeah, we can share this energy and share our gifts and create that community. I think that's all the housekeeping notes I have for you guys. So this week's episode is about aliens, but not just aliens that are coming from a different planet. It's not about government conspiracies because there's tons of stuff about that already. Instead, we're going to focus on aliens and how they intersect with spirituality. There are a lot of new age religions that have been formed recently based on the ideas that they are communicating with these extraterrestrial beings. Now, 65% of the population believes that there is intelligent life that exists in other planets. And about 1.5 Americans claim that they've seen a UFO or know that UFOs or UAPs, as that they're called now, which is unidentified aerial phenomenons, are real. Now, for the sake of this podcast, and because I am old, I will forever call it UFO. Maybe I'll call it UAP, but it's UFO. I mean, come on, I can't change it. I can't. I'm 40. I mean, let's go. I'm 41. Oh my God, my birthday just passed. So yeah, happy birthday to me. So recent talks about whistleblowers in the Senate and government conspiracies and the likes have really ramped up talks about extraterrestrials or aliens. If you are on Reddit, there's a subreddit called Aliens, and it is ripe with theories, quote unquote, proofs, experiences, and stories. I don't remember, I think it was at the beginning of this year, towards the end of last year, there was a case of a family who had called 911 because they had claimed that there were aliens in their backyard, or at least they didn't refer to them as aliens. They referred to them as things that were very, very tall, were not human, and they were walking around in their yard. And the kids sounded petrified. And this story is still coming up because they had video evidence. They were really scared. They're still coming on and talking about their experience, but they're also talking about how they are actively being silenced by somebody. They said that they're being followed, that there are cars parked in front of their homes watching them. So, but then when you watch the video, you think you can see something, but then there's nothing to see, but then there's like a shadow moving and people swear they see something. I've yet to see anything. I cannot see anything on that video. And they're talking about how they are cloaking is the word that is commonly used. They're cloaking so you can sort of see maybe fuzziness, but not really the alien head on. But like I said, what I want to talk about is different than the usual alien experiences. I want to provide sort of another perspective that is really not commonly talked about in more open spaces, but is part of a much smaller subsection of spirituality, especially New Age spirituality, that's associated with these beings. Now, when I say these beings, there are, according to a lot of theorists and people that believe, a lot of different species, I guess the best word is to describe them, extraterrestrial beings. They aren't just one, there are many different others. So I will leave that up to you to decide who is who. The general consensus is that not all of them are warm and fuzzy and have the best intentions, but there are still others that claim that they're trying to do better for the human race. But let's back up a little bit. We are all aware of the idea that aliens come from a different planet, or the idea that they are interplanetary. They are somewhere in our galaxy or even universe, that they may travel to Earth through a spaceship. They have access to a wormhole, all that. But there is still another theory. It's called the interdimensional hypothesis. The interdimensional hypothesis is a proposal that UFO sightings are the result of experiencing other dimensions that coexist separately but alongside our own. In contrast with the extraterrestrial hypotheses that suggest that UFO sightings are caused by visitation from outside of the Earth. Proponents of the interdimensional hypotheses argue that UFOs are a modern manifestation of a phenomenon that has occurred throughout recorded human history, which in prior ages were ascribed to mythological or supernatural creatures. I'll break it down. Don't worry. So essentially, what the hypothesis suggests is that aliens are not coming from other planets, but instead from a different dimension, meaning that aliens are already here. Extraterrestrials are already here. They are parallel to us in a dimension that we as humans do not have access to. But when they do cross over to our dimensions, that is when we're able to see them. That's when we have access to them. So they're essentially not coming from another planet, but are already here in a space where we do not have access to them. There is a document, there's an FBI document that was written in 1947 that's been declassified since then, called the Round Robin, the Flying Roll. I would love if you guys Google that, the Round Robin, the Flying Roll, and read it for yourself. But I'm going to pull out a few points in the document that I found super interesting that really fit into that interdimensional hypothesis. First, one of the things that it mentions is part of the discs or the UFOs or these spaceships, they carry crews. So they are being manned by whatever being is in there. Others are under remote control. Their mission is peaceful. The visitors contemplate settling on this plane, which for some reason to me sounds absolutely terrifying, but I digress. These visitors are human-like, but much larger in size. This is where it caught me, this particular line. They are not excarnate or earth people, but come from their own world. And I translate that into, yes, they're not from this earth. They are from another, maybe version of earth, another dimension, another access, but they don't have almost like a soul. As humans, are human versions of a soul, and you'll see why I say that. The next line, it says they do not come from any planet as we use the word, but from an etheric planet which interpenetrates with our own and is not perceptible to us. The bodies of the visitors and the craft also automatically materialize on entering the vibratory rate of our dense matter. So if you are somebody that has studied the esoteric, studied the spirituality, it's talking about frequency, how they have access into our world because of their ability to change their frequency or their vibrational pattern in order to enter ours. The next line is, the discs possess a type of radiant energy or ray which will easily disintegrate any attacking ship. They consider themselves immortal, I'm using air quotes, and so simply disappear from our vision without a trace. The region from which they come is not the astral plane, but corresponds to lokas or talas. Students of the esoteric matters will understand these terms. This is in the document. And since we are students of the esoteric matters, I'm going to explain to you what lokas or talas are. In Hindu and yogic cosmology, the concepts of lokas and talas refers to various planes of existence or realms of consciousness. These terms describe the vertical dimensions of the universe with distinct levels, each with unique characteristics and inhabitants. Loka generally translates to world or plane, and Tala can be translated as realm or plane as well, but sometimes is interpreted as hellish or lower realms in certain contexts. And according to my research, these terms also vary according to different Hindu texts. So essentially, different planes, different worlds that we do not have access to as we are, as humans. We don't have the technology, we do not know. But they do. And they come across and visit us But what's their point? Why are they coming on this side? According to the document, they're saying that they want access to our planet, that they are thinking of settling. There are theories that these beings are already among us, that they walk among us, that they have settled onto our plane. And yet there are others who claims they're not here, but we could talk to them. And that's the next part. There are new age religions now and gurus and teachers who claim that they have access to these beings. And there's one that I find so interesting that is, I listen to them and I'm like, wow, that is really, really profound. And we're going to talk about it. But first, let's take a little break and I'll be right back. Hey there, a quick pause on our amazing journey today. I have a small favor to ask you that goes a really long way in supporting this show. If you're enjoying what you're hearing and want to help us reach more awesome listeners like yourself, here's what you can do. First, make sure you're following us on social media, especially on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram at Remember Love, or you can find us on YouTube at Remember Love Healing. It's a fantastic way for you to stay up to date with our latest episodes and behind the scenes content. Plus, engaging with us there really helps boost the algorithm, making it easier for others to discover our podcast. And if this episode or any other episode has struck a chord with you, please share it, whether it's on social media, with your friends, or even mentioning it in conversations. Every share means the world to us, and it helps spread the word about our little corner of the podcast universe. Thank you so much for tuning in and for your incredible support. Okay, now let's dive back into our episode. Remember, your share and follow could be the reason that someone discovers their new favorite podcast. If you are on social media, I mean, literally anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, there are tons of videos about aliens and people who claim to communicate with these beings. And a lot of the times these beings come with messages, which they in turn create into content and push out to you. So then you can go back, watch them, be enlightened, which is obviously parts that I love. But a lot of the times they are, of course, trying to also make a living and sell something on the back end. But use that with a grain of salt. I'm not here to poop on anybody's belief systems. We are open-minded and we are exploring all avenues of possibilities. But there are many who believe that these beings, like I said, come from faraway galaxies. They come in through these wormholes and travel into our planet Earth. Yet there are others who believe that they are already on this plane, just living in a different dimension that is not visible to us, but they can traverse and travel between these spaces. There are, of course, yet another subset of people that believe that these aliens are actual angels or guides who are technically guides between God and the human race. So they believe that these beings are coming down with messages for us, or are guiding us, or guiding the human race into a positive, a positive track for the human race. And finally, there's yet another subgroup who believes that these aliens are actual divine beings, not just guides, but gods who are being sent down to guide humanity again, like Yahweh. They believe that Jesus was actually an alien, and a lot of our spiritual teachers are aliens. Whether or not that is true, I don't know. I am just here to share information with you. There are religions now in the 20th century that have been founded based on this belief system, on this belief that these are actual divine beings. There is one religion called the Raelians, or the Raelian movement, NRM, and it is based on a belief that UFOs and extraterrestrial lives are divine beings. It was founded in 1976 in France by Claude Vorihon. I am mispronouncing that. And he claims that he encountered ETs on December 13th, 1973, and claimed to have received a message from an alien or an ET called Elohim, or which translates to those who came from the sky. He claims that they came to Earth over 25,000 years ago and created life with the ability to control human DNA. He claims that they set him up, so they set up Claude, to be an ambassador on Earth. I also want you to know, cults are a real thing. I'm not saying, I mean, this guy might be absolutely right? Like maybe we're just so far off the mark that we believe in wilder things. I mean, we do. So he thinks that this race of aliens came 25,000 years ago and they can control DNA. So now, because these aliens have presented him as the ambassador on Earth, he asked all members of the alien movement to donate 10% of their income to finance construction of an embassy for Elohim in Jerusalem to welcome them. They are instructed to treat their bodies with the utmost respect, which, of course, not allowing caffeine, alcohol, and to keep a strict vegetarian diet. In a very quick synopsis of their belief, they believe that these beings are actually going to return to Earth and teach them through scientific technology. They're going to teach them human cloning, how to travel through the universe, and immortality. If this is real, I don't want to be immortal. Just FYI, I don't want to be immortal. I fully believe in reincarnation. I want to reincarnate. I want another option. So if this is something that you want to explore, they are called the Raelians, Raelians. Can't talk about aliens without talking about Heaven's Gate, which was a cult that was founded in 1974. I am old. I remember Heaven's Gate. I remember them being in the news. I was 13 or 14. Was I? Yes, I was 13 or 14. And I remember watching this unfold in the news. For those of you that don't know, might not remember, Heaven's Gate was founded on the belief that a spaceship was arriving behind the tail of a comet called Hale-Bopp. And the only way to access this spaceship was, unfortunately, by suicide. So 39 people lost their lives in 1997. Their website is still up, which is wild to me. There's a documentary on Netflix that you can find if you want to learn more about this. This is the actual real dangers of cults. This was a cult. So if you want to learn more about it, I encourage you to look up the documentary. The Aetherius Society, which was founded in the UK in 1955 by George King. He claimed to have been contacted telepathically by an alien called Aetherius, who represented interplanetary parliament, claiming to be a plural or liberal religion, stating, "Nor does God favor people over one religion over another, and certainly not people of one country over another," which is nice. I like that. They believe in alternative medicine, spiritual healing, yoga, and dowsing, which is totally my jam too. George King died in 1997 at 78, but the Aetherius Society is still active. Their headline, you can find them online, aetheriussociety.org. Change the world and open the door of enlightenment. Discover the spiritual path of King Yoga. Actually, their website is aetherius.org, rius.org. I'm going over these New Age religions. I call them New Age because they are new, about these beliefs and how they have created a culture, community, religion around these contacts. Please be aware that a lot of these are considered cults. And a lot of the times they want something from you, whether it's money, whether it's complete control, whether it's domination of your self-preservation. So as we talk about it towards the end, if this is something that interests you and you want to explore the possibility of maybe connecting to another being, if this is what you believe, I'm gonna show you how you can do that. There's a documentary currently right now on HBO, and I have been trying to get my tiny little hands on this documentary without going and buying HBO. It's called Love Has Won, and I'm probably going to get HBO Max anyways next week because the new season of House of Dragon is coming out, and me and my husband we love Game of Thrones. We don't like the way it ended, but we were really into the show. Anyways, so this documentary called Love Has Won is where a group claimed Mother God had direct communication with advanced alien civilizations who were heavily involved in their spiritual development. I know, looking at a lot of clips online, they had this person, this woman, Mother of God, had such a hold on these people. But at some point, she was communicating also with Robin Williams, which, I mean, that's a red flag if I've ever seen one. And then she was taking colloidal silver because she believed it can cure something in her, to the point where she looked like she was just not even a walking corpse. She couldn't walk at that point. They were just wheeling her around in a wheelchair, and she was blue and gray. It was really shocking to see. I do want to watch the documentary, and at some point I have to find it online. If not, the next week when I decide that I want to pay for HBO Max. I am just a person living this life too, trying to save. I'm just trying to save. So another religion that I know you've heard of because it's always in the news, Scientology. Scientology is a new religion based on the idea of extraterrestrials. According to Wikipedia, Scientology teaches that all humans have experienced innumerable past lives, including lives in ancient advanced extraterrestrial societies, such as Heliotropes and the Marcabians. Oh my goodness. Traumatic memories from these past lives are said to be the cause of many present-day physical and mental ailments. Scientologists also believe that human beings possess superhuman powers which cannot be restored until they have been fully rehabilitated as spiritual beings through the practice of auditing, using methods set out by Hubbard in his various works. Hubbard was a novelist. A lot of these ideas came from his writings, but just putting it out there. Now, finally, this is not an exhaustive list. I'm just giving you sort of like a broad overview of belief systems based on extraterrestrials. Now, I'm going to play a clip of this one. This one is actually one of my favorites. Whether he's actually communicating or not, the message is what captured me. Now, I don't pay him. I haven't purchased anything. I'm not in his cult. I don't even know. I know he travels and he does a lot of in-person sort of sessions or channeling sessions. And the messages are always amazing. So I like the message. Am I fully sold on what's happening? I don't know. But his name, or let me back up, the channeler's name. So the person who is channeling this being, his name is Daryl Anka, and many of you may have heard of this. If not, if this is your first one, prepare yourself for a wild ride. Now, Daryl Anka channels an extraterrestrial being named Bashar. According to him, he's been channeling him for 37 years. Let me play one of his messages for you. And full disclosure, full credit goes to bashar.org. Let me play you a clip.
I know this sounds a little bit funny in your language, but really, the strongest way you can express compassion in your life for yourself and for others on a certain level is to not care what other people think of you.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Because you are you. They're not living your life, you are. Yes?
Yes.
All right. Well, you're also, if I may add, by not being your full self, you're depriving your family of an opportunity to see who you actually are.
Okay.
Why would you take away from them the gift of your true being? Why would you deprive the world of the gift you have to give by not being who you truly are? There are people waiting to share things with you, but they can't find you because you're not being the full you.
Oh my God, that's true.
I know, that's why I said it. So, in order to really be bold in life, decide what works for you, decide what does not work for you, and move forward. Yes?
Okay, yes, I will do it.
All right, not because we said so.
No,
because that's what you really prefer, yes?
Yes.
All right. There is absolutely no circumstance and no situation in life that is inherently difficult. Only your definitions of that situation and your relationship to it make it feel difficult. So change your definition, and the way you experience any situation will also change. Yes?
Yes.
Make sense?
Yes.
Does this help you?
Yes.
Do you believe you can go forward in your life in the way that you prefer to now?
Yes, I will.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
What?
Told you. It's so a lot of his messages are simply just like, oh yeah, I can absolutely resonate with that. And he travels and tours and does these channeling sessions, and I simply find them, again, absolutely amazing. But of course, as students and as people that are exploring our spirituality, I urge you not to put all your eggs in one basket, or don't follow the messenger, maybe follow the message. It's really easy to fall into these groups, especially when we are searching for something, or we're searching for a little bit of guidance, and then all of a sudden here comes this person who says, I know for sure this is the answer. I know for sure. And it's in that confidence and in that sort of their own ability to be so unequivocally self-assured in their answer that we're just like, well, I mean, he's sure, so maybe this is it. So if you're going to explore some of the organizations or groups that I have mentioned, always look for, are you losing self-autonomy? Are you losing money? Are you losing family? Are you giving something up? You shouldn't have to sacrifice for a positive message, right? So now you're like, maybe there is something to this. Maybe this is something that I want to explore. Well, welcome. If you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know that I have sort of an irrational fear when it comes to extraterrestrial beings, mainly because when I was younger, I had a nightmare that was so vivid that I still remember it clearly. As I explore it with my therapist, she says, oh, do you not think that all the issues that you were having as a child, you sort of manifested it into an outside fear, and so you can handle it better? And I was like, shut up. Just let me have my phobia. And she's like, maybe you need to explore that a little more. And I'm like, oh, fine. Okay, fine. Anyways, so this is not something that I necessarily want to explore. But if you want to explore it, there is a thing called meditation. And there are groups, there are actual groups of people that meditate to connect with these beings. And they say that they are successful at meditating and connecting with these beings. There's a documentary called Unacknowledged. It features Dr. Greer. If you are within the alien, UFO, UAP community, you have heard of Dr. Greer. He used to work in the government. He says he has access to all this information that he continuously puts out to sort of prepare the human population for an invasion? Not an invasion. Contact. That's perfect. Contact. But if you watch this documentary, they're talking about all this stuff, but somewhere nestled in the middle, there's this group of people that do sort of like this remote viewing meditation. And they go out into the desert, they sit in a circle, and they just start meditating with the goal of connecting with these extraterrestrial beings, these aliens, wherever they come from, interplanetary, interdimensional, whatever. And then somebody sits on the side that's not meditating and is recording and documenting and taking pictures of everything. And holy cannoli, okay, their experiences are almost the same, but then you see these lights sort of playing in between them that are photographed, and they refer to them as the beings, or that they're connecting with them in this like form of light. It's fascinating, really, really fascinating. So if this is something that you want to explore, there is a subreddit called Meditation that does talk about it. And of course, you can also watch the documentary called Unacknowledged. There's also some guided guided meditation on YouTube called Signal to Noise. And it's how to communicate with these extraterrestrials. I mean, there's tons of them. If you go to YouTube and click connecting with extraterrestrials, I'm sure you're going to find something that you resonate with. As I'm scrolling through my YouTube right now, there's a YouTube video called 4D with Demi Lovato, guest Stephen Greer, which I am going to watch. I didn't even realize that Demi Lovato had a podcast. Interesting. Anyway, I really hope that you found something useful in this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me again. If you are interested in learning more, you can visit our website, spillingthetealeaves.com. If you want to learn more about me, my name is Michelle. I don't even know if I said this in the beginning. My name is Michelle. You can find me online at rememberlovehealing.com. You can find me on Instagram at rememberlove. You can find me on Threads, which is probably my favorite platform right now because it's easy. Instagram is having a lot of Instagram sucks right now, if I'm completely honest. I have another business called Michelle Mello Digital where I do freelance work for people that need websites. They need help with their social media, and I'm telling a lot of my clients that Instagram right now is so difficult for folks. So I am choosing to not be as active on there as I used to be, just because it takes so much time and effort for nothing. I'm not reaching any of my followers. I'm not reaching new followers. And the whole point of my business and doing this is a community. I wanted a safe space where people can talk about the esoteric, spirituality, religion, all that stuff without judgment. And unfortunately, Instagram is not it, but Threads I'm liking. Now, I'm also uploading a lot of guided meditations, and I was trying to upload it here on Spotify, and Spotify said, we don't like this. So they have pulled these meditations. If you're looking for Reiki charged meditations that are targeting very specific chakras, head over to my YouTube channel, Remember Love Healing, on YouTube. Please subscribe, give it a like, turn on notifications, do all that fun stuff so you can have access to these guided meditations, which apparently YouTube loves, but Spotify is like, we don't like it. Thank you once again for joining me. I hope you have a fabulous weekend. And if you ever need any help, any questions, if you just need a little bit of guidance, or if you have a suggestion for a show, please let me know. You can email me at michelle@rememberlovehealing.com. Thank you so much, friends. We will talk soon. I'll see you next time. Bye.